Hi there, my name is Chris M. Walker, and for the last decade or so, I have had the privilege of starting multiple online businesses, including Legiit.com, which is a revolutionary digital marketplace and platform that connects businesses with the training, the services, and the tools they need to grow, scale, and help their customers as best as they possibly can, as well as Superstar SEO, a globally recognized search engine optimization with training, services, consulting, and software brand. And all of this started for me because of two different blogs that I found. Well, one blog that I found and one blog that I created. And that first was a blog that I used to read that was no longer there, but the owner put up a one-page website explaining what he was doing in his life then. And what he talked about was he was making his money doing something called affiliate marketing through affiliate marketing blogs. So I did some research on that and I learned a lot from it. And eventually I started my own blog, which was a site about how to get rid of cable. It was about streaming services like Netflix and Hulu and devices like Roku and stuff. And I made some money from that and selling other people's products and advertising and things like that. And those two things have changed my world forever. They started me down the path of making money online, doing search engine optimization, doing freelancing, which led me to be able to create these companies that have helped so many people change their lives in the way that site changed me. So without blogging and without blogs, none of this would have been possible. So I'm now to a point in my career where my goal is legacy and impact on the world and giving back in a way that people gave back to me. When I started, I had to jump around to a bunch of forums and Facebook groups and all these other things to learn blogging and learn how to monetize a blog through ads or affiliate marketing or whatever. And there was no one comprehensive resource to kind of show me the way and teach me how to do it. So what I've done for you today is put together a presentation that's going to give you a complete overview of everything you need in order to get started blogging, start a blog, find the right type of niche and keywords, monetize it, and go from having nothing to having something. Now, I did a presentation like this a few weeks ago on SEO, and the feedback was just phenomenal. And if you were one of those, I thank you for that. And I decided it was time to put one out for blogging as well, so I could give back in the same way that I have gotten. So in this presentation, I'm going to cover everything you need to know about blogging in order to get started. And if you've already gotten started, some things that will help you scale. And then at the end of the video, I'm going to have some more resources for you on how to implement some of the things that we talk about in this video, as well as how to find some additional free training here on the channel that will relate to some of the things that we talk about. So I hope that you'll enjoy this. It's a great presentation. I put a lot of time and effort into it, and I really hope that it'll be the resource for you that those other things were for me back in 2013 or so. So again, my name's Chris M. Walker, and I hope you enjoy this presentation on how to start a blog. All right, let's get right into it because we've got a lot to cover and we want to get this to you as quickly and as easily in a way that you can understand and implement today to get your blog started. So first, I want to give you a kind of a quick start, jump start, whatever guide that you can do just a few steps to get your site up and running. Now, you're going to want to watch the rest of this presentation, but I thought I'd put this right at the top so you can kind of see how few steps there are to go from having nothing to having a live site on the internet. First thing you want to do is sign up for a basic hosting plan and a domain at Namecheap.com. It doesn't necessarily have to be Namecheap, but they are the least expensive and they have the best support in my opinion. You install WordPress by going to cPanel and using the Softaculous apps installer. Install WordPress from that dashboard and then use a theme like Astra or OceanWP or GeneratePress to get something that you can look at and have a nice, easily customizable theme. Now, again, there's more steps to each of those steps, but if you understand at least the basics, you can go do that now. I don't recommend that you do. I recommend you watch the rest of this presentation. And if you need help walking through how to do this, there's actually going to be a video linked at the end that will help you with that as well. But I wanted to show you this before we get too deep into it. So let's move on. The first step is going to be choosing and understanding your niche. Your niche is what your blog is going to be about. It could be, health. It could be make money online. It could be pets, whatever. And we're going to talk about getting deeper into that in just a second. But I wanted to make sure that everybody knows what I say when I say a niche. That means your industry, your market, your vertical, whatever term you prefer. But some things that you want to make sure that you do not do are cover too many niches. So if you are in the health niche, you don't want to cover veganism and carnivorism and carnivore diets in the same site, because they're too far apart, even though they're kind of in the overall same general niche. You want to understand your target audience. So if you are making a site for vegans, you want to understand the terminology that vegans use. You want to understand what's important to them, what they look out for, what they're interested in, things like that. So you can write content on your blog that's going to be relevant to them. If you don't, it's going to make it harder to do a lot of different things. For example, it's going to make it harder to rank in Google, because Google's not going to recognize, if you have all these topics, it's not going to recognize you as an expert in any of them. Basically, if you talk to everyone, you end up talking to no one. And that's important because a lot of the traffic you're going to get to your blog is going to come via search engine optimization, which is traffic from Google and other search engines, but primarily Google. You also won't be able to serve your audience and help them solve their problem because your content's all over the place. So if you're making that vegan blog that we talked about, and you're also talking about the carnivore diet, they're gonna, if they happen to land on a page that talks about how to eat raw meat, or I don't really understand the carnivore diet, but if they happen to land on a page about that, they're gonna bounce, and because you haven't solved their problem, you haven't answered their question, you haven't spoken to their desires. And then building on that, you just won't keep them as a reader, because not only will they not be interested in that one piece of content, they're not going to associate your blog with the blog to go to when they need to know vegan recipes or vegan lifestyle hacks or vegan meetups or whatever. So you'll never see them again. And that's a traffic or a sale or a subscription or whatever your goal is that you're not going to get. So another thing you should consider doing is picking a niche that you are interested in and knowledgeable about. The interest is not necessarily a requirement, but in my experience, if you're interested in it, you're going to be motivated to write about it. You're going to know where to find resources. You're going to write in a way that other people that are interested in it will relate to. They'll have an instinctual knowledge that you are also interested in it. And if you're knowledgeable about it, obviously you'll be able to write better content, but there's also an SEO advantage to that, in that Google is getting very good at understanding when someone is an actual authority as opposed to someone that's good at just SEO, and rewarding them with ranking. Now, that's not 100%, and some people will disagree, but I'm right and they're wrong. So being knowledgeable about your topic is a huge advantage. And that kind of leads into the last point there, is you'll have a better understanding of your audience. So you'll be able to write content that not only works for Google, but works for people that are going to be reading your blog, which frankly is more important, right? Like if they're not interested in your topic, in the content that you write on this topic, it doesn't do you any good. You might rank, you'll never get anything from it. So that's just step one. Now, if you need some inspiration for some blogs that you can kind of get inspiration from and ideas from, you can check out, full disclosure, two that I own, superstarseo.com/blog. We teach SEO, better ranking, digital marketing. We touch on freelancing a little bit. And it's just really there to be valuable content for people at all spectrums, or all parts of the spectrum on SEO and digital marketing experience. You can check that out at superstarseo.com/blog. Another one is the site that I own, but Legiit blog, and that's found at legiit.com/blog, legiit.com/blog. There you're going to find a lot of content that helps business owners grow their business, invest in outsourcing, find talent, scale, all things like that, social media, SEO. But you'll also find things that help freelancers, so people that want to offer services as freelancers to the rest of the world. So that's kind of their business. It's a freelance, whether it's SEO, whether it's content, whether it's graphics, whether it's voiceovers, whatever. There's a lot of content there to help those. But those are a couple more. Ahrefs, however you want to pronounce it. Theirs is, I believe, ahrefs.com/blog. And it's similar to the Superstar SEO blog. It covers SEO, it covers digital marketing. They've done a really good job at content marketing and driving traffic from their blog and growing their entire business around their blog. So they're a great template to use. Another good one is Copyblogger. They focus more on content marketing and copywriting, but it's really helpful for both content and copywriters, but also entrepreneurs that want to use content marketing to grow their blog. And I believe it's copyblogger.ai, but I'm not 100% sure on that. Just Google it and you'll be able to find it. Some things to consider are other people interested in your topic? Some ways that you can figure that out is, first, just see if there's similar blogs online. If you're covering veganism, then see if there's other vegan blogs out there for people offering recipes or lifestyle hacks or meetups or whatever there is. I don't know the niche well enough to give examples beyond that, but see if there are others out there. You may be thinking that the fact that there are others out there means it's too competitive. That's not true. You'll be able to come up with your own angle, your own twist to it, or maybe you'll just be better at SEO than those are. But the fact that there are others talking about it is good and not bad. Don't let that be a limiting belief that you have. You can look through Google results and YouTube results, again, to see others that have used similar topics, and then just kind of put your own spin on it. Talk about it from your angle. Maybe you're a vegan over 40. Maybe you are a single mom vegan. Whatever it is, come up with your own angle, but don't let the fact that other people have done it dissuade you from doing it. But at the same time, and make sure that you're not going after ridiculously competitive terms, at least if you're beginning. Like, you don't want to try to target the word vegan, because that's going to be too complicated and too expensive and too difficult. But also, it's not specific enough. Vegan could mean literally anything. They could just be looking for a grocery store near them or whatever. They're not necessarily looking to learn what veganism is. So just keep that in mind. And it kind of ties into this, right? Don't go too broad. So veganism is even maybe too broad, but health would be even broader. That could be anything from carnivore diet to how to work out to martial arts to veganism to whatever. So you want to niche down in that. And making money online is another example. So a making money online blog is too broad. You would want to focus in on something like dropshipping with Woocommerce. Now, dropshipping, if you don't know, is where you have an e-commerce store, but you don't own the product. You set up the website, you drive the traffic, and then when you get a sale, you ship it from a warehouse or a supplier or Alibaba, AliExpress directly to the customer. So you never touch the product. And then Woocommerce is the e-commerce extension for WordPress. So if your blog was about drop shipping with Woocommerce, you could cover Woocommerce plugins, tutorials, etc. And then same thing with health, right? Instead of health, you could be living as a vegan and then cover getting enough protein, vegan meals, vegan meetups, lifestyle hacks, whatever. So you won't want to go too broad, but you don't want to go too niche. So these are some examples of how you can niche down your blog and still attract a good audience and get good traffic to it. Next up, choose a name. This is something where you can spend way too much time on it or way too little time on it. Some things to avoid is gigantic, long domain names that no one's ever going to type out. You don't want to put a bunch of hyphens in them or underscores in them or a bunch of unnecessary numbers, because nobody's ever going to type that, and that's going to cost you traffic just from it being too difficult to type. So find one that reflects your idea. Come up with a name that gives people instantly an idea of what you do. So some examples here are More Plates, More Dates. That's a weightlifting site. The name is catchy and it kind of rhymes. It has a rhythm to it. Plus, it kind of gives the potential result that you can expect to get from that site. Texting God. Texting God is a dating advice website that teaches men how to go on dates and get people to go out with them, usually through texting. So you get that directly from the domain name. Rags to Niches is another one. It's a make money online site, but it's where instead of rags to riches, it's rags to, they probably pronounce it niches, but I pronounce it niches, but it's a common term, and it kind of gives you an idea that you're going to be talking about how niches can take you to money. So that's some kind of ideas that you can get. Now let's get a bit more specific. A catchy brand name it's short, it's snappy, it's easy to remember, and it's just it's cool, for lack of a better term. Some examples are Zapier, which is great because the thing that you make on Zapier is called Zaps. Legiit, which has the a lot of people say something is legit if they believe that it's good. Mashable is another one. So another way to check if the domain name is available. So you just go over to Namecheap.com and type in. So if you wanted to do, I don't know, vegan living. Yeah, vegan living. That's probably already a site, but you'll go over to Namecheap and just type in vegan living. It'll tell you what's available, the .com, the .net, the .org, the .info. I would try to stick to .com.net or .org, preferably .com, and not get off into the weeds on any of those other weird ones if you can help it. So and Namecheap also has free privacy protection. You don't really need to understand what that is, but basically it just means that your information is hidden. So, and then again, don't add random numbers or hyphens or whatever. Like, if you can't find one with your desired name, and you have to add numbers and hyphens, it's time to pick a different name, unfortunately. Don't get too attached to it, because as important as it is, it's not that important. And if you're having trouble thinking of a name, do a Google search for Shopify business name generator. I also have a video somewhere on this channel that shows you how to do it. But just search for that and take care of it. And just put in like a word and it'll generate a bunch of names for you, tell you if the domain's ready, and all sorts of stuff. Step 3 is getting hosting with Namecheap. Again, I'm only recommending Namecheap because I find them to be the easiest and the most cost effective. You can choose any of the other hosts out there, but there will be a link for Namecheap in the description of this if you want to do that. But you can get a WordPress hosting plan because it's optimized for the CMS that we're going to be using and be describing both in this presentation and in the video that shows you how to set up a site. And for hosting, I would just get either the Turbo or Supersonic there. If they've changed the names of those or whatever, just look for something comparable to the numbers there, because until you get up to the 50K visitors a month per more, you can get these cheap hosting. Like the most expensive one there is $12 a month, which is just, fantastic. You can have your domain and your hosting all set up for $20 and be ready to go in no time. So don't spend too much time on this. Just figure it out for yourself or watch the tutorial that is elsewhere on this channel in the SEO 101 video. And you don't even need to buy any of the add-ons. They're going to try to upsell you a bunch of stuff. You don't need to do that. Just get the very basics and get started. Now, we talked a little bit about this in the quick start guide, but I want to walk through it a little bit more. And then if you need help, there is another tutorial on this channel that will show you how to do this specifically. WordPress, you want to install WordPress. WordPress is the #1 blogging platform. Something like, 50% of the internet runs on WordPress. So don't make it complicated for yourself and use Joomla or OpenCart or any of these other ones. Just stick with WordPress for now. So once you get your domain purchased and your hosting set up, you're just going to go over to your cPanel. You're going to open the Softaculous apps installer, which is pictured there. You're going to click WordPress, and then you'll just follow the prompts. And again, there's a video on this channel that will show you how to do it. If this is too techy for anybody, don't worry about it. Don't feel overwhelmed or anything like that. If you have another hosting provider other than Namecheap, it's still going to be very, very similar to this. Whether you have GoDaddy or Bluehost or HostGator, they're all going to be very, very similar to this. So find the tutorial on this channel if you need help for it, but I wanted to cover this so you know it's really very simple. The whole process will take less than a half hour usually. After the install, you want to go to edit the website and see your WordPress dashboard. So from here, we get into designing your website. Designing your website doesn't need to be complicated, especially for a blog. It's it depends on how creative you are, but I wouldn't spend a lot of time getting it looking perfect. Get something up there and then get it designed later. If you don't know how to do design, I certainly don't. Just go over to Legiit.com and find one of the designers there that'll hook you up and take care of it for you. So you don't need some 3-month web design course. You can find an easy to customize theme, Astra, some of the others. There's Divi. They're very, very easy to do. It's ridiculous how simple they've made it. Some of my suggestions are the Astra theme, Elementor theme, or Ocean WP. Some other good ones are Divi, Ultra, Spencer, and Hello Mouse. Just pick one of those that you like and figure it out as you go, or get somebody on Legiit to do the design for you. You just go to, and then once it's installed, you just go Appearance and Customize, and you can customize the whole theme there. You can change the site name, the tagline, the header, the footer, the menu, some of the parts of the like a visual appearance. You can do a lot of it from there within WordPress. And again, there's a video on this channel that's going to show you literally how to do all of this. So watch that if you're somebody that needs a step-by-step tutorial. And if you do, that's okay. That's why I make these videos, because there's nothing in this for me It's just to be helpful to people in the way that other people were once helpful to me. So take a quick look through site name, tagline, and site icon. You want to set those to whatever you've come up with. And then make sure that your blog page is set to your homepage. There's a setting in there for homepage, and you'll have the option for either a static page or most recent posts. You want most recent posts to be the homepage. Stick with some colors or branding for your blog that you like, and use a freelancer from Legiit, or if you want to do it yourself, use Canva to do the branding. I recommend you let somebody on Legiit do it, because if you're starting a blog, you're probably not a designer, and you want somebody that's going to do it quickly and without the frustration. I don't want you worrying about the design so much that you get frustrated and quit. And that's not just because I own Legiit and I want you to use Legiit, although I do, but it's because I went through the same thing. I spent ridiculous amount of time on design, and I ended up not getting my sites going, and that was a big failing for me, and I don't want you to fall into that same trap. So moving right along, let's get into some very, very basic SEO. Now, SEO stands for search engine optimization. What that means is optimizing your website or blog or whatever else. In our case, it's going to be a blog, to be as easily understood by Google and other search engines as possible. That way you bring in traffic from them. So for example, suppose you have a fishing blog and you write about saltwater fishing tips. Of course, you'd want that to show up in Google when somebody searches for something like saltwater fishing tips. And SEO is precisely how you do that. So you're going to optimize your post and maybe your whole site for saltwater fishing tips. Now, there are 4 main components to SEO. Keyword research. Keyword is any phrase that you type into Google. So it's not just a single word. That was confusing for me when I was first learning. So fishing is a keyword, but also saltwater fishing tips is a keyword. A keyword doesn't necessarily mean just one word. To me, that was very confusing. I think they should call them key phrases, but nobody asked me. But that's basically the keyword research is finding the words you want people to rank for, or you want people to use in order to find your site. So you want people looking for saltwater fishing tips to find your saltwater fishing tips blog. Next up is content and on-page SEO. These could almost be separate things, but I put them as one. But basically, this is creating content that users are looking for and optimizing it. So you're going to create a nice long post about saltwater fishing tips, and then you're going to optimize it so that Google understands that it's about saltwater fishing tips, and so it can move it up in the ranking. Off-page SEO. This is a big topic, but this includes getting people to share your posts on their blog and social media, but it also includes getting people to link to your site, which is a way of helping move your site up in search engines. No matter what anybody else tells you, links are a major SEO factor, so keep that in mind. And then technical SEO is making sure your website runs fast, making sure there's no broken inbound or outbound links, things like that. So let's cover a few things here. On-page SEO, let me explain what a plugin is. A plugin is a small piece of software that you can add to WordPress to extend its functionality and make it do things it doesn't do on its own. One of the things you're going to need for a blog is an SEO plugin. I recommend using the Yoast SEO plugin. It's the most well-known and, in my opinion, easiest to use. There's others out there. There's Rank Math. There's All-in-One SEO. There's a bunch. So, but for now, I want everyone to use Yoast SEO. Once you get that installed, and if you need help installing that, just watch that other SEO 101 video. But you can go to the general Yoast SEO settings by clicking on the icon in your dashboard. And from there, you can configure your website name. You can connect to Google Search Console, which is a Google product that helps it helps Google understand your site a bit more. You should definitely sign up for that. I think I have a video on that. And then save the changes, and then sign into your Google account, and it'll do a couple of things to help to make you verify that you're the owner. I recommend doing the HTML tag, but just do whatever works for you. And just watch this channel if you need help with that, or ask, and I'll be happy to help you out. Next up is XML Sitemap. XML stands for Extended Markup Language, I think. I know ML is markup language. I can't remember what the X stands for. I'm not good with acronyms, but basically it's just a directory of the layout of your site. It's a way for Google it's a map basically of your site that Google can crawl and understand. Yoast will actually generate that for you. So just make sure that that's turned on in your Yoast settings as shown there. Permalinks. This one is important. For a blog, you want it to be the post name. So you'll see there that there are a bunch of different options. I want you to choose post name. This is in your WordPress dashboard. So you're going to hover over settings. You're going to click permalinks, and then you're going to click post name, and then save or apply or whatever the button says. Basically, that's going to make your site yoursite.com/post-name. There's other ways to do it, but they aren't as user-friendly. They're not as search engine friendly. And I really don't even get why they're still an option at this point. But, that's neither here nor there. Categories. Categories are important. You can click on categories and then click add new and add categories. So if you have that fishing blog that you're talking about, a category might be saltwater fishing. It might be another one might be freshwater fishing. It might be, I don't know, cooking. I don't know that much about fishing, but I think you get the idea. These should be subtopics of your niche. So top level is your overall niche, and then the categories are things within that. So I hope that makes sense. It also helps Google and your readers understand your site and find different pieces of content on it. It's just a way of organizing it for both the human and the Google computer to understand. Is finding blog topics. So some things that you need to think about when choosing topics to write about on your blog is what worries my readers. So these are topics that are driven by problems, and it's one of the best ways to get loyal readers, because if you help someone improve their life, they're going to appreciate that and they're going to keep coming back. Plus, and this goes back to what we said earlier, if you're writing about something that you're experienced in, you can think about some of the problems you used to struggle with. So weight loss is a great one. If it's how to lose inner thigh fat, that's something that people that are overweight can be interested in. And if you can give them some tips, eat this kind of diet, do these kind of exercises, whatever, and you help them cure that, then that's a problem or that they worry about that you've helped them solve, and now they're going to appreciate you, view you as that authority, and keep coming back. And then on the other side of that is what excites your readers. So, that's pretty straightforward, right? If you are say you have a pop culture blog and you talk about movies, figure out what types of movies they're excited to see coming out. Black Adam is coming out this week, right? Topics around that. What I thought about Black Adam, my Black Adam review. How did The Rock do in Black Adam? Something like that. Something that's going to be exciting to them, and they want to read about, that they're going to find you as the topical authority on, and come back to you to read. So that's another one that's really important, is something that excites your readers. And I'm using different types of examples here, by the way, so we don't think that, I'm hoping that they'll stimulate you for different areas that you can make your blog around, whether it's pop culture, whether it's fishing, whether it's weight loss, whether it's vegan, whatever. So if you're wondering why I'm jumping around to different examples, that's the reason why. Another one is, what do readers love about my niche? Pain is an excellent motivator, and writing about helping your audience solve their problems is excellent, but there should be things that they love about your niche too. So if you're in marketing, which is one of my favorites, maybe more sales with little effort is what they're interested in. So that could be a way to do it, is, hey, I found this way that's working really well to get me new digital marketing clients, and I just wanted to share it with you. Something like that. So think about some of the best moments your niche can experience, and think about topics around them, and just write it. So some places you can find these are a site called Answer the Public. Basically, this will give you a bunch of questions for your niche in seconds. You write them down, and then you create a piece of content around them. Reddit works kind of the same way, so use Reddit in that way. And then, of course, social media like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, whatever. Just go and see what people are talking about and what they love about it, and write content around it. Figure out what people are already interested in and give it to them. All right, now we are at the exciting part, right? We finally get to do something. We finally have a blog, and we're going to start writing it. Writing your first blog post. Now, there will be one in there called Hello Dolly in a lot of themes. I would just delete that one and add a new one. You can also, by clicking add new at the top of your screen. On the left side, you'll see a plus sign. If you click on that sign, you'll see a selection of blocks that you can add to your article. By the way, because this is the most common thing now, we're using the Gutenberg WordPress editor. Personally, I prefer either using a built-in one or an extended one like Elementor, or using the classic WordPress editor, which you can install with a theme. But because this is what's going to be there by default, this is what I showed. So just either edit the Hello Dolly post or delete it and add a new post and start writing. And again, there are other tutorials on how to do that, but that's basically how you'll start with your first post. You will add different blocks that do different things. They'll have their own settings. You just click on that block, and once you've added it, you can change the settings for that block. Go ahead and add one of the topics you researched earlier into your title. So what was it? Saltwater fishing tips. Make that the title of your post. WordPress is going to automatically create the link because we set the permalink structure earlier. And then in this post, how to start a blog, ultimate guide, it makes it much clearer and better for SEO purposes. So I like to keep it all the same. Whatever term I'm trying to rank for, saltwater fishing tips, it would be myfishingblog.com/saltwater-fishing-tips. So keep just the keyword as the permalink. Writing your blog post. Here are some of my favorite tips to write killer blog posts. Deliver what the title promises. That seems like it should go without saying, but you'd be surprised. Let's continue the saltwater fishing tips. If your title of your article is saltwater fishing tips, deliver some that are better yet. If it's saltwater fishing tips that you've never heard of or something like that, write a blog post that gives them saltwater fishing tips that they've never heard of. Like, again, I know that should be self-explanatory, but you'd be surprised. Don't fill the article with fluff that the user already knows. So this drives me absolutely nuts as a consumer. But if you write saltwater fishing tips, and then the first thing is, what is saltwater fishing? I'm like, bruh, come on. We get that. You don't need to do that. A lot of people do that to meet some arbitrary word count, and don't do that. It's very frustrating for readers, and it doesn't serve anyone. Then you want to back up your point with statistics. Using this kind of reel will help you get 23.4% more catches, as shown in a study by Fishing USA. I don't know if any of that makes sense, but I think you get the right. And these personal stories, right? If this is something you're passionate about and something you've done, say, yeah, I was out on the water with my son on Saturday and we weren't getting anywhere, so I changed out this reel with this reel and I threw it in a different direction, and that was when I was able to catch some saltwater fish. Something like that. Fill it with visuals. And we'll talk more about this, but fill it with visual elements, whether it's tables, whether it's images, whether it's a video, whatever. But people scan, and having visual things helps break it up and will make it more engaging and keep them on the page longer. And then speak in a conversational tone. You don't want to, like you're writing a college paper. You want to be like, you're a person talking to another person. That's very important for conversion. Some places where you can get images are for free that you can use are Unsplash, Pixabay, Pexels, Canva. There's plenty of just search for non-copyrighted images. What you don't do is just go steal them from Google, because that can get you in trouble. So let's talk about formatting. The quickest way to lose attention, and I talked about this in a previous video, but is long paragraphs that make everything hard to read. Now this, for those of you that have gone through college level courses on writing or even high school, this is going to go against what you were taught. But basically, you don't want a paragraph to be more than 2 sentences without putting a carriage return, which means a line break, a space, and enter, whatever. Basically, if you don't do that, people are just going to get overwhelmed and they're going to bounce off the page. I am especially bad about this. So do not mess this up. Never have a paragraph that's more than 2 sentences long, or your content is just not going to engage people. Use proper headings. So it shows H1 and H2 there. What those are HTML tags that go from H1 to H6, H1 being the largest, H6 being the smallest. And it's a way to organize your content, but it's also important to help Google and other search engines understand what your content is about, but it also breaks it up. So if you look on the page here, you can kind of see some examples of all of these things. Another thing is to use bulleted or numbered lists, because again, it makes it easier. I call them anchor points. I don't know if that's the right term, but it's a way for people to find specific things quickly within your text because they scan, they don't read. And then images serve the same purpose, to break up your text as well. The last thing you want is a giant wall of text, because people just will not read it. This is way overlooked in all the blogging and SEO courses that I've taken, and it's so important to get right. So format it in a way that's easy visually to read. Next up, finalizing the SEO settings. Now, on the side of your WordPress editor, you should see a field for Yoast SEO. I believe it just says SEO. And here you can see how optimized your page is overall. This is actually at the bottom in a lot of cases too. It depends on your theme. But first, ensure that your keyword, the keyword that you want that page to rank for, so saltwater fishing tips or whatever it is we've been using, is configured in the keyword section as shown. And if this has changed a little bit because they update this frequently, then just adapt. It'll be something similar to this. Just add that keyword in the keyword section. Then you want to make sure that you turn as many of the lights green as possible, but don't obsess over it. So, if something doesn't make sense and it's telling you that it's a red or an orange, just leave it that way. But try to get the main ones, the text length, the title width, and so on, right? And then you want to get the snippet right as well. So there will be a snippet editor, and we can make another video on that. But make sure that you get all of the things that it shows in your SEO analysis in Yoast SEO right. The inbound links, the images, the text length, the snippet. The snippet is the meta, title, and description. I can show you a separate video on that as well, but it's all really, really straightforward. Just go to the Yoast SEO settings on the post that you just wrote and do what it tells you to get as many of those green. Now, there's a lot more that goes into SEO and on-page SEO, but this is for a very beginner audience. If you already know SEO, you'll already know this. So, don't, if you do know this, I doubt you're watching this far into this video anyway, but if you need a little help, let us know. But basically, you want to get as many of these right without being obsessive as possible. So that's kind of the point of the SEO settings, but that's pretty much it. Congratulations, you have just finished your very first blog post. You can preview it by pressing the preview button on the top. I think it's on the top left of your screen. I use the classic editor, so I'm not as used to the Gutenberg editor, but press that and it'll show you what it looks like. If you're not happy with it, you can edit some of it. But once you are finally happy with it, just push the publish button and that's it. You now have a blog post that's out in the world. Now, again, I know we covered a lot here and there's a lot that this may be overwhelming if you're brand new. So I'm going to link to another video in the description of this. I've mentioned it numerous times and I'll mention it numerous more, but it's going to show you how to kind of walk through all of this. So I don't want you to get overwhelmed and think you can't get it from this. This presentation is more to show you the process and kind of give you a bit of a guide on it. To do the step-by-step over the shoulder, there's a different video for that. So check that out as needed, but I wanted to give this as kind of a general overview for anyone that wants to start their own blog. So some things I want you to think about is to keep growing your blog, stay consistent. The most important thing to blogging is clicking publish as often as possible. You have to do the proper keyword research and optimization and stuff like that. But more than any one thing, hitting publish as often as possible is the most important thing. That's what's going to drive traffic to your blog if you optimize it and you share it on social media like we're going to talk about soon. And then of course you want to monetize it through things like ads or affiliate marketing or partnerships or whatever. But just stay consistent and keep excited about it and keep publishing, and eventually the traffic will come. So moving on, step 9 is an editorial calendar. This is a great way to stay consistent like we just talked about. And what this is a calendar where you decide how often you're going to publish and on what days you're going to publish and then what you're going to publish on those days. That's a great way for you to visually just look at something and know what you need to start getting ready for the next one and to stay on task. People need organization in order to achieve success, and an editorial calendar is a great way to do it. You'll have set times in your week that are for your blog, and you'll know when you have to tell your friends or your social media or whatever that you can't meet them because you're going to be pushing out a blog post that night. It may seem That may seem dire, but if you want to make a go of this, you're going to have to set aside some time and maybe sacrifice some other things. So once a month, just sit down, use a Google Doc or some other application or just a physical calendar and write out what post you're going to publish on what day you're going to research posts, and so on. And before you know it, it'll be a rhythm that you don't have to think about. So creating an editorial calendar or a content calendar is really, really important to keep you on track and have a successful blog. So some things about creating your content. You try to plan topics as related as possible. So saltwater fishing tips, best reels for saltwater fishing, best bait for saltwater fishing, top saltwater fishing locations available to the public, top saltwater fishing locations in Canada, things like that where you're kind of building that authority to where Google eventually figures out, all right, this site is about saltwater fishing. And what you'll do is you'll hit what's called topical authority. And once you get to that point, just publishing will usually help you rank right away. So you have to be consistent and you have to be related, but the more you do that, the better you'll be. Decide your publishing frequency. This is an individual decision that you have to make. With how consistent you can put out great content. 3x a week would be amazing. I know that's more than some people can handle. At least once a week, though, I think would be great. 2 would be better. So figure out what you can do. Write out that calendar, like we just talked about, and stick to it. And if you need some help, go over to Legiit.com, hire someone to do the keyword research, hire someone to write the content, hire someone to post the blogs. If you want, you're going to hit a point where you can't do all of this yourself. And if you still have maybe a day job or you have family obligations or whatever your situation is, use an outsourcing site like Legiit to get more stuff done and to help you get your blog out there. So again, create a content calendar with Excel or Google Sheet or whatever. You just need 4 columns: the date, the title, the keyword, and the link. And depending on how you plan your schedule, you may need to add more fields to it, but that's just kind of a basic template that you can use. Is a Google Sheet, the date you want to publish this post, the title of that post, the keyword that post is going to be optimized for, and a link to that post. So, for example, best saltwater fishing in North America is going to be published on October 22nd, and the keyword is best saltwater fishing locations, and then a link to the post. That's all there is to it. The keyword column is just so you can keep track of it for SEO purposes. Remember, we're trying to build up that topical relevance and authority, and if you can visually look at that, you'll understand it better. And set reminders if you need it. You can use, your phone. You can use your Amazon Echo, whatever it is. However you keep track of things, just use that. But set reminders if you're the kind of person like me that needs to be reminded of something and just won't remember it off the top of your head. Next up, let's talk about business and monetization, right? Posting a blog is fun. It's a great hobby. It's a great way to enjoy your life. It really is. Like, I've started my journey, like I mentioned at the top of this video, with a site about getting rid of cable and streaming services and devices and things like that. And that was something that really interested me at the time. But if we're going to spend all of this time and effort and probably money in getting a blog that is worth keeping and that's going to keep us interested, we need to monetize it a little bit. We need to make a little bit or a lot, preferably, of money off of it. And some ways you can do that are affiliate marketing. Affiliate marketing is, and I'm going to be doing a presentation on that soon, but affiliate marketing is what started this whole journey for me. So basically in this, you'll write about products or services that somebody else offers. Maybe you do a review of them or whatever, and you just link over to them. And when somebody buys something or they fill out a form or something like that from your click, you get paid. Amazon has a very popular one, although their payouts are pretty poor. We're going to talk about some other ones in a second. The reason this is so popular with bloggers, though, is that you don't need your own product. Creating your own product is great, and we may talk about that in a bit, but it's a lot of work, right? You have to create it, you have to design it, you have to support it, you have to get people to know about it. You may have to get affiliates to promote it for you. But with affiliate marketing, you don't have to create the product, you just have to send traffic, and that's what your blog can do. So you can promote products that you love and earn a commission, and it's just a win for everybody. Some popular affiliate networks, I mentioned Amazon. There's also Share a Sale, FlexJob, Impact Radius, Commission Junction, ClickBank, and Legiit even has an affiliate program. So check those out, and you can find more, and you can always ask me if you need suggestions on how to monetize a particular niche that you've gotten into. Ads. Now this involves displaying banner ads on your website that when somebody clicks on it or when somebody sees it, you end up getting a payout. There's different ad networks out there. There's Ezoic, there's Google AdSense, there's another big one that I can't think of at the moment, but look for those. Some of those are going to have a minimum traffic requirement before they'll let you have it, but Google AdSense does not. So you may have to start there and then add others later. But the good thing with this is that you get traffic. If you get traffic to your site, you get paid a little bit, even if people don't click, and you get paid a lot if they do. So if you can get relevant ads on your site in a way that's non-intrusive, you can really make a lot of money. This is actually Outbrain is the other one. This is the way a lot of blogs are monetizing now as opposed to affiliate marketing. So keep that in mind. Another way is sponsorships. So once you become a big enough authority with enough traffic in your niche, continuing our fishing example, suppose you become the authority for, I don't know, saltwater fishing blogs, then you can get sponsorships from different brands who will pay you to write about their product. So you'll actually get paid ahead of time just to share your opinion on products. That usually involves writing a post, something about them, and them just paying you to do it. So maybe some fishing rod company will pay you to sponsor their product. So think of it like when you watch television and you see a celebrity endorse a particular product. That's kind of the same thing that we're doing here. So a fitness coach could sell our own products or services. I briefly touched on this before, but this is an important thing. If you have your own product or service or you would like to create them, then you can use a blog to do that. We talked about Ahrefs earlier. They kind of do that. Like their blog is to drive traffic to their product, which is an SEO analysis tool. I do that too with my own blog. But for example, if you're a fitness coach, you could sell courses, consultations, one-on-one sessions, whatever, supplements. If you're a graphic designer, you can sell your graphic design services on that same website. If you own a SaaS stands for software as a service, basically a software you use through a web browser, or you're a developer, you can sell them right through your blog. So you can hire and by the way, you can also hire someone to create those banner ads for you if you're unsure. But those are just some of the various ways you can monetize your site. It's really important, but it's also not important. Like you want to make sure that you're doing all the basics before you worry about getting paid. But you want to make sure that you have a way, you know how you're going to get paid once you get to the point of being able to be paid. Hopefully that makes sense. Next up, traffic. This one is interesting to me because a lot of people think this is the most important part, or they have a traffic problem, and they don't, because the traffic is there for everything. It's just a matter of navigating it to you. So for blogging, there's basically three that are very important, and those are SEO, search engine optimization. We've talked about that a little bit, and there's a lot of videos on this channel about that, so just watch one of those. But we are going to cover that a little bit more. Social media. So social media, I think, is pretty self-explanatory, but we're going to talk about that a little more too. And then email marketing, which we'll talk about in a minute. But for social media, you can get more shares on your content. Like it makes sense, right? You post it to Twitter. If you have Twitter followers that are into your saltwater fishing blog, they'll like it, they'll comment on it, they'll retweet it, and that'll get it seen by more people and more people and more people. It'll grow your account, and it kind of snowballs from there. So you can drive your existing followers to your new blog post or your old blog post. You can make valuable connections that can lead to those sponsorships that we talked about, and a whole bunch of other things. So let's talk about different types of social media traffic. Pinterest is one that's about that you use what's called pins. It's very visual. You'll share pictures of the things that you do, and it'll link to your website. Pinterest is very, very underrated in my opinion as far as driving traffic, and it shows that it has some of the highest CTR. CTR stands for click-through rate, meaning the percentage of people that saw it that clicked on it, and it makes it a really valuable tool for bloggers. So spend some time optimizing your your Pinterest bio with specific hashtags, and make it appealing to the people that you are interested in attracting. You can use Canva to do this, or you can hire somebody on Legiit to get it done for you, but make a post, create a pin for it, and add it to the relevant category, and you will be absolutely stunned at how much traffic you get from this. Pinterest is way overlooked. And another social media channel that you can use and you should use is Twitter, because Twitter makes it really, really easy to share content. So if you post a link to one of your blog posts and people like it, they'll like it and then they'll retweet it. That'll get it seen by more people, and it can even go viral. You can also post 2 or 3 times a day. And also, you don't want to just post your links. You don't want it to just be, check out this site, this post on my blog, check out this post on my blog. People will get bored of that and it won't get shown to as many people. Just post, hey, anybody else going fishing this weekend? Something like that. And, follow big accounts in your niche and comment on their tweets and share them, things like that. So you want to engage on Twitter and build up a little bit of a reputation in your particular niche. But once you do, it can really take off. And then there's too many to cover all in one thing, but there's TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Clubhouse, Snapchat. Different ones are going to be different fits for different niches. It's worth creating all of them, but you don't have to be as active on all of them. Some of them just aren't going to work well for some niches. So play with them, figure that out for your individual niche and do it. And then one that I wanted to make sure that I did talk about was Facebook groups. There are Facebook groups for every topic that you could ever imagine, whether it's, make money, whether it's health, literally every topic, there are groups, and some of them are going to have tens, thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of people in them in your niche. Now, you don't want to go in there and just start spamming your link. You want to follow the rules and the guidelines and stuff of that particular group so you don't get kicked out and so you're not obnoxious. But Facebook groups are a traffic source you should not ignore. Next up is SEO. I wanted to walk you through some more specifics, in particular keyword research. So one thing I want you to do is download 2 free Google Chrome extensions. And I think you can use them on Firefox as well. But Keywords Everywhere and Surfer SEO. These are going to help you with your keyword research. So you head over to Google and you start typing. Once you install them, you head over to Google and you start typing in the topics you found earlier. And on the right-hand side, you'll see suggestions. So for example, if we type in freelancing, you're going to get related keywords, and it's going to say freelancing websites, freelancing login, is freelancing easy, freelancing websites for students. You get the idea. It's going to give you people also search for. So you know how if you Google something, at the bottom it says other people looking for this also liked this. It's going to give you those terms so you can build content around those. It's going to give you long tail keywords and so on. So it's going to give you a lot of information that you can use to create additional content. And it's a great way to start with a broad keyword and narrow it down into some, longer tail or easier keywords to rank for. So keyword research is its own thing, and I have videos on that as well. So if you need help with that, let me know. But this is a really easy way and a free way to get started. So just go download Keywords Everywhere and Surfer SEO, install those, and just do what it tells you. And then email marketing, it's a bit beyond the scope of this video, but install a plugin that creates a pop-up on your site that will collect email addresses. You can use, there's some free ones, there's some cheap ones. Just find some that work for you. Opt-in Monsters, SumoMe, things like that. You may not like that, but they work. I know that people are averse to email pop-ups and pop-ups on web pages, but facts are facts. They work, and that's what's important. Working is more important than, annoying people, as hard as that sounds. But as far as managing your emails and then sending out email, and by the way, the reason we collect these is because we let people know when we have a new post. We let people know when we're promoting a new offer, and it's just a reliable source of traffic whenever you need it. So more traffic equals more revenue, and email is one of the most popular, or not popular, but powerful ways to drive traffic to your blog. Start with a free one like Mailchimp or Aweber, and you just embed the little pop-up on your blog or the timer on your blog, collect their email, and then email them when you have something valuable to offer. This is absolutely crucial, and maybe it needs to be a separate video, but you have to start with this. So if you have questions on that, ask those too. So we're almost done. We want to cover some frequently asked questions. So about blogging. So how do bloggers get paid? We covered some of these, but just to summarize it, there's a lot of different ways a blogger can get paid. You can do sponsored posts, which is where somebody says, hey, I have this site and I'd love to write a post on your site about it and link back to it in exchange for some money. There is affiliate marketing, which is where you sell somebody else's site, or excuse me, somebody else's product through your site and you get a commission. There's banner ads that's similar to sponsored posts, but you're putting an ad that links to someone's site, product, service, whatever. You can sell your own products and services as well, and then you can do sponsorships where you write a post about someone's product for them. How do I start a blog for free? I don't recommend this, but if you absolutely have $0, you can use WordPress.com, Blogspot.com, or Weebly. Those are free blogging platforms. But like I said, I don't recommend you do this. It costs $20 to set up hosting a domain and a WordPress site. So if you don't have $20 doing the best, I do understand, but I would still, in those cases you can use these sites. I would still invest a little bit though. What are some other CMS options to use? CMS stands for Content Management System, and the best answer is WordPress. However, if you don't, for whatever reason, you don't like WordPress, you can use Squarespace, you can use Wix, you can use Shopify, and if you have e-commerce, and some others. So you're not limited to WordPress, even though that's all we talked about in this particular video, but I strongly urge you to go with WordPress. Another one, is it still worth starting a blog in 2022? Absolutely. In fact, I think it's better now because a lot of people have gotten the impression that it no longer works or it's not good anymore, and stuff like that, and they're wrong. Like, there's a lot of traffic out there. If you know what you're doing, you can generate a ton of traffic and really live a nice lifestyle just off a blog or two. So yes, it's absolutely still worth doing, especially if you can learn a little bit of SEO and a little bit of traffic generation. What should I blog about in 2022? Well, ultimately, whatever you want. If you love traveling, blog about that. If you're a fitness coach with a specific target customer, men over 40, young ladies, whatever it is, you can blog about that. It just depends on what your time is. You do need to make sure that there's an audience out there for it. Like I said, you don't want to be Seinfeld vegans in North Carolina. In fact, there's probably not a big enough a big enough audience for that. But that's really the only thing that you need to consider, is if there's an audience. But even then, you can blog about whatever you want. But if you want to make money, there does need to be an audience. But beyond that, there's the sky's the limit. How do I optimize my blog for search engines? Now, SEO is a whole big thing, and there is more to it than I can possibly cover in this particular presentation. But I want you to, for now, just install the Yoast SEO plugin. I want you to do what it tells you, and you set up a clean permalink structure, domain.com/post, submit your sitemap, do the on-page SEO components that it suggests, optimize for it, and then learn link building for beginners. I have a video on, I have a blog post on the Superstar SEO blog that's literally link building for beginners. I can link to that if you're interested. But that's pretty much it. That's all I want you to do for SEO for now, because if we did this on SEO, it would be longer. And I know that because I did this presentation on SEO a while back, and it was long. So go watch that. Go watch the SEO 101 training. I'll link both of those both below and at the end of this video. But that's kind of the basics of SEO for now. And then just some final thoughts. This is kind of the quick bullet points of what we covered: is choose and understand your niche, choose a domain name, get hosting with the domain name from Namecheap, install WordPress, do a basic design, do some basic SEO, keyword research, and so on to find your blog topics, and then write your first blog post and just get it up there. Getting that first one up, getting that site up and getting that first post out is so important, because then you've done something and you can start building some momentum. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. The way to get to Mount Olympus is make sure every step you take is in that direction. So just get started. Do these first 7 steps, first 8 steps, and get your first post up there. Then you can go into creating a calendar, so you know when you're going to be pumping out content to your blog 2, 3, 4, maybe more times per week. Get into the monetization, so you have a way to recoup and make some money and make this worth your while, and then get some traffic. And most importantly, just do it. If you want to be a blogger, and I think you should, if you've watched this far, odds are you almost certainly do. So just go do it. Just figure out your topic, figure out your niche, and just get your blog up. Just get started. That's the most important thing that I want you to take away from this. So I hope you enjoyed this presentation. I'm going to hop back on camera a little bit, but again, my name's Chris M. Walker. I own Legiit and Superstar SEO, and I'll see you in just a second. Thanks for watching. Well, there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this presentation. I know it got kind of long, but there's a lot of information to cover there, and it's really good and really helpful to see a whole thing and then go back and find bits and pieces that you may have missed or you need clarification on and things like that. But I hope that covered everything that you have. And if you do have any questions, ask those in the comments and I'll do my best to respond to them and help them. And of course, you can always join the Superstar SEO Facebook group, the Legiit Facebook group, or you can find me anywhere online and I'll be happy to help you out. I'm also going to post 2 videos somewhere on the screen here that will help you learn both SEO as far as a presentation similar to this one that's an overview, but also a more over-the-shoulder type presentation on how to get started setting up a blog and doing SEO and affiliate marketing for yourself. Both are totally free. There's nothing for sale in either of them. It's just my way, again, of saying thank you and giving back. So I hope you found this presentation helpful. I hope this will be the resource that you need to change your life the way others were for me. If you could go ahead and click like and subscribe and the notification bell. If you enjoyed this, I'd appreciate it. If not, that's fine too. But I hope you enjoyed it. Again, my name's Chris M. Walker. Check me out on legiit.com, Legiit.com. And I hope to see you again soon. Thank you.